Hello lovely people, my name's Andy Woolley, and in this video we're going to look at some of the AI tools, specifically one called ArticleForge. Now AI tools, as you're probably aware, have become very popular this year, helping all content writers, not necessarily replacing content writing, but certainly aiding it. So jumping over onto the screen, you can see we're going to use it for my case study, which is spicesplate.com. We've already done the intent and looked at some of the keyword research, and I'll leave a link in the description for that, so check those videos out. But more importantly, now we're going to look at the direct correlation to herbs and anxiety. This is one of the articles we're going to write. We're going to use the tool today in order to do that. So what's the best herb for anxiety? We're just going to copy that. We are going to use, as I said, ArticleForge. To give you an idea of pricing, literally just jump on there. Been using it for about 2 months. It's not a bad little tool. Like all the AIs, they all have a slightly different flavor to them, but they all run along the GPT-3 framework, which basically is what they use to generate the content. And also, more importantly, a good number of these are plagiarism free, which is an important thing when it comes to ranking. So you can see it's not crazy money. You know, if you go per month, it's $57. If you take out the, the yearly one, it drops down to $27 a month. I'm simply trying it on the monthly one. Let's see how that goes. There's quite a few articles, as you'll probably notice as soon as we log in. Let me just put my details in there. Bear with me. Just wait for it to load. It's never as quick as you want it to be. There you are. Right. Okay. So we've logged in. This is the main screen you get. Gives you some advice. Some, like a lot of these tools, they don't just expect you to use them straight off the bat. They'll educate you. They'll tell you what their command words are and how you can get the most out of them. Already, I have a section here under the dashboard for my articles and what I've written to date, and you'll see a range of a few of them on there. It lists them. It gives you an idea of the particular topics. I don't mind sharing. At the end of the day, they're just snippets of what they're relevant to my domain name. But we're going to jump straight in. Let's write this article. So here we need to enter our keyword, and we're going to use this as our title. What is the best herb for anxiety? Now you can see how it's already given us some ideas or tips, as it were, for the keywords, and more importantly then the sub keywords that provide context and drive you in the right direction, i.e. match the intent of what the reader's looking for. So obviously we're going to use herb. We don't know what type of herb. Maybe there are specific ones and that might help. Anxiety, definitely. Mental health, we want to reference that. Let's look back into our research and we can see best vitamins for it. No, best calming. What I'm looking for is anything that helps me build that out. Anxiety and depression. Depression is closely related to it, so we'll put that in there. Calming, severe. Yeah, these are sort of things that can help. So let's put that in there. So relax, calm, anxiety. Oh, we've done the anxiety, sorry. Depression. Oh, let me see if I can spell it right. Depression. So we've got quite a few there that will help. And you can see you literally just separate them with a comma, no problem. Now, obviously you could choose the length of the article. I tend to go for 750. What I tend to find is hit and miss. Sometimes it'll provide a really good, concise article and use up the 750. Other times it needs to be shorter, and then you can pile a few of those together to get what you're after. In this particular case, I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to go for medium, and let's see what we get. Yes, I want titles, so basically it will subcategorize or subtitle under the content, and that's going to be beneficial to help me. It will also, and this is quite a unique feature of this AI tool, it will also pull in a relevant image and a video as well. So I'm going to tick those on. Now, from my own perspective, the image I don't need because I have a Dreamstime account and I'll go and seek something that I feel is more on the money. But what's quite interesting by just putting it on is you get to see what is ranking out there, and what it determines is really relevant for the intent of that particular article. And more so with a video as well. That's always a good, interesting one. I can replace certain keywords with links, which again goes some way towards creating your SEO. your backlinking profile. I'm not personally going to put that on because I like to do that manually and be a bit more craft it, as it were. So I'm going to leave that off. And that's basically it. That's all we need to put in there. And we simply click create the article, and you'll see the bar there will start calculating content. It will be rummaging the internet to obviously find the right sort of information and put it together. So I'll shut up, we'll speed forward, and then we'll see what it gives us. Okay, so it's finished now, and obviously you can see it's ready. I can close it. I can click the result. Just before I do, I just want to draw your attention to here. Switch to the bulk article generator. You could put in quite a lot of keywords here and even a range of questions. And just based around the one sort of pillar post, it will go off and write around about 5 or 6 individual posts, and they're all related. So if you're looking to create your sort of silo structuring based around one pillar article, it does that for you as well. It takes a little while to generate that because obviously it's writing more than one article, but that's another great facility built into ArticleForge. Now let's have a look at the result. So clicking this now, it will open it, and you can see what is the best herb for anxiety. Herbs for anxiety treatment. So obviously it's brought in a stock image, as it were, from 123RF, which is an image repository, which again, I could probably get that on Dreamstime anyway. But what's interesting is, are these, and this is where we need to do our fact checking with any of the AIs, are these specifically relevant to anxiety? Or is it just simply that the image has been titled that and the herbs that are listed underneath, some are and some are not? And this is where you can't, I wouldn't say trust the AI, but you need to do your due diligence, okay? And there we are, we have an article here as well. And we also have a video underneath as well, which we can go and check. 10 natural remedies for helping anxiety and I'm presuming that's stress. If we open that, let's just click it and open it.
Hello, Mark Testa here. In today's video, I want to share with you 10 natural remedies for dealing with anxiety and stress.
Yeah,
now, you don't have to do all of these. Pick one that you might, but a 20% stress and anxiety.
Yeah, again, I'd have to check the validation of this. I just click onto YouTube, so it opens it up. Again, I could just embed that URL, and you know, if it's on the money, that'll add context, and you don't have to necessarily generate your own videos. Using them and creating another link will obviously benefit your particular page. I'm just looking under his description. Let me just pause that. Just looking under the description, see if there are any references to herbs. So there's herb tea in there, CPD. So yeah, there's minimal, to say the least, to be honest. So having taken the title, I also put what is the best herb for anxiety. I also got this rich snippet here where there are quite a few. The CPD obviously came up, passion flower, lavender, chamomile. There's a few in there. That would lend more context for me actually to develop this article. So let's jump back in. Let's delete that. We don't want that. Delete that. Simply click on it. You can remove the image, and there's my article, 500 words. What is the best herb for anxiety? The answer depends on what causes your anxiety and what you prefer to deal with, the root cause of your anxiety. There are numerous herbs that are available to treat for it. Some of these herbs can be used as natural remedies for anxiety and depression, and they are also effective in treating panic and phobia as well. Passion flower, there we are, we're on the money. Considered by many to be a cure for anxiety and depression, is one such herb that has a lot of potential. The passion flower herb contains a chemical called, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that has a strong stimulating effect on the nervous system. This can result in a feeling of mental calmness and relaxation, as well as an increase in energy. One of the biggest benefits of diasaurian, however, is that it can actually reverse the negative effects of aging, making it a very valuable addition to a healthy diet and supplement regime. Great. Okay, so I could more than likely put a subheading there and then title that passion flower. What I would do then is respin this article, and we're going to do that in a minute, where we're actually looking at the different types of herbs that tick the box or tick the intent of what herbs help for anxiety. So without further ado, let's take all this and let's copy it. Now, I'm not going to put it straight into the back end of my site. I'm actually going to do it in Word because I just think that would be more effective for me going back and forth in order to build out this particular content. So just opening a new one, and we'll just type it in. But when I type it in, I right click and I paste as standard text. I don't want any styling, I don't want any formatting, because when I go to copy this from here into Word, we will repeat the same, because we don't want any nasty short codes in there whatsoever. So I'm happy with that. That's not too bad. I just save it. So always save as you go along, so nothing crashes and you don't lose your hard work that you might have been working on for an hour or so. So just put it, there it is. But not only that, more importantly, the rhyme and the reason I don't want to do this in the back end of WordPress yet is I haven't decided that is the actual title I'm going to go with. I might go with something else. And whilst I could put it in and change the permalink, I'd rather do that from the get-go. A lot easier, to be honest. So we can see passion flowers there. Now I'm just simply going to put a heading in there called passion flower. I could just make that bold, slight bit of formatting just for the purposes of seeing what we're doing here in Word. I'm just speed reading through the rest, so it gives me an idea. There's another one there, obviously, which is called Spirulina. Okay, never heard of it, but okay. Again, we will do our fact checking and we will find out whether this is indeed a herb for anxiety. There's one there, lavender, which we know is one that was mentioned, but again it says lavender essential oil. Is that the same? We need to check that out. Then we've got all of these herbs are excellent choices when it comes right, brilliant. So that's more our in conclusion or final thoughts. Final thoughts might be better there, to be honest. So that would be our sort of closing out statement. Okay, and what is the best herb? The answer is lavender essential oil, stated above. Lavender oil is one of the best herbs for stress relief. It also happens to be one of the best natural. Right, so that literally is leading us down to that. And okay, we will do our fact check. It'd be nice if that was the case. Already we're up to 478 words. Fine, not a problem. Ideally, I like to get my articles somewhere between the 750 and 900 at the very least, just to make sure there's enough meat on the bone, as it were, for whoever is reading this. And as I mentioned before in the intent video, they're going to look at this and they're going to say, right, okay, but does it really answer the question? Because I'm in the know. I've got some prior knowledge. And that's the type of reader I'm looking for. If it's a beginner, someone totally new, then they're going to get a very informative article. But if they're knowledgeable already, they want to dig a little bit deeper. And I think we owe it to our audience to make sure that's what we're doing for the blog writing. All right, okay, enough talking. Let's get back on. So happy with that there. Now I can simply just jump back in and do a new article. Now, what I'm going to do here is repeat the same process, but I'm going to change the ingredients slightly. And this is for two reasons. Firstly, to see if we get something different. And secondly, as a test. Let's see if it really does change the, what we're requesting to give me something realistic. So we're simply going to copy those in because we know those are being referenced. Again, just control paste. I do need to put a comma between each one of them or on a separate line, one per line. So that's absolutely fine. I will take the full stops out though, just in case that causes any issues. But those are that. Just briefly go through. Also, one thing I did spot quite nicely in there, natural. To treat anxiety naturally. Well, I do believe that looking at herbs and spices is the very essence of what we're trying to achieve here by doing it naturally. So I think that we should put that in there as well. Naturally. Okay. And then just running through this. Herbal treatment. Natural remedies. Yes, I like that wording. Natural remedies, because what ArticleForge does, very similar to a lot of the other AI tools, is it will pull these out and decide, yes, this is something that can be used within the content. And because they're looking at all these separate entities and putting them together in one particular blog, it should choose each one of these and write something on it. Okay, I think we've got enough there. again, we will go for a long version of this one because I think there's quite a lot of individual titles. We will also ask for titles in there as well, and what it will do is it will see if there's like the ashwagandha, I think that's how I'm pronouncing it, ashwagandha. It will look to see if there's something relevant to that as a herb and more so in relation to anxiety and pull something out. So again, I'll set that going. The bar will start filling out and looking for the right content. I'll speed through this in a minute and join you on the other side. While we're waiting for that, again, best use of time, that's what we're trying to do. I am jumping on my Dreamstime account, which I'll leave a link in the description below. Brilliant for the price, 100 images for £37 a month. You really don't get cheaper than that, and all copyright. And to be fair, having used multiple image libraries over the years, I found that it's not a bad choice in there as well. So I'm going to look for anxiety, and let's see what comes up as imagery. And you can see already it's giving me lots of related terms there, which is fantastic, because when we do start writing lots and lots more blogs, we're looking for relations. I do like the use of some of these images, but do they have one that maybe somebody's eating or drinking? And that might be even more on the money. If I scroll up to the top of it, you can see 1,700 pages. Too broad. So let's narrow that down. I mean, we could go to the anxiety stress, but I'm going to go to anxiety, and let's put in, see if herbs is something that will come back as a potential solution. So just waiting for that. Again, we don't have to put in natural speech in there. We just have to put in keywords. Most of these repositories are pretty good because they're using tags in order to find the relevant image for you. And here we are. According to that, it's 279, which is spread over 4 pages. So, okay, we've got the choice of herbs, but I do think it's quite emotive to have a person within the image. No, I don't think these are anywhere good enough, to be honest. So the chances are I'm going to go back to anxiety, stress, narrow down on that, and then look to see if I can find something more appropriate. Yeah, there's a choice here, don't get me wrong, but no, there's nothing there that I really want to use. So we'll go anxiety, stress. Okay, and I don't tend to do the words. They're a bit boring. I like to connect, because this is connecting with other people. This is my rhyme and reason and sort of my branding guidelines. I like to put people in the images because I think that relates so much easier. But again, are we seeing anything that's sort of really, a child? Again, I'm looking more for an adult than a child, because I don't want to imply the wrong thing. And this is the thing. I'm doing this quite quickly, but I could spend anywhere from half an hour to an hour really looking for what I consider is the right sort of image that will help. Yeah, I quite like the look of this lady. She's got enough stress on her face by the looks of it. Not that that's a good thing. That's not too bad. Anxiety, stress. No, upset is more what I would go with there. Anger or rage there. You can see there's a lot of crossover in emotions here. I mean, there's another one there. Anxiety, stress, adults. Let's go with that one. It's nice that it makes all these suggestible tags, and that's quite what I like with Dreamstime. It does help narrow down, but then all of a sudden you can go a little bit off-piste. Anxiety, that's not too bad. Yeah, okay, she's in the plane, but then it's not something she can really act on with any herbs, is there? Maybe it might come in form of a tablet or a capsule, but again, I'm just trying to be as specific as I can, because I want people to make the emotive connection between both the image and the content. Right, well, I'm not seeing anything here. I'm thinking I'm really going to come right back to something I seen at the very beginning. Just put anxiety in. And I think I'm probably going to go for something like this. Anxiety, that's not a bad one. Yeah, I like this. There we are. So I'm going to go with that one with anxiety, and we'll simply download that. So we've got our image. Right, let's jump back in. Let's go and see what difference it's made in that article. So again, that's ready. Simply click to see the results. I didn't switch on for the image or the video this time. And again, what's the best herb for anxiety? 5 herbs for panic and anxiety disorders. Nice, it's already making a suggestion there. If nothing, I could certainly use that for a subheading. And you can see we've got a good bit of content here now. What's the best herb? Anxiety is not uncommon, affecting millions of people worldwide. The good news is that many herbs have been used successfully as a treatment for anxiety, and those most popular ones are often used today. Some of these herbs include, brilliant, lovely introduction. Also, again, you can see the titles here: lavender, kava, chamomile, valerian, ginseng, and this is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is take this as my main bedrock of information and start fitting other bits of information into it until I get to around about, say, the 900 words. So all I've got to do is just come up to the top and press copy. That will copy the whole thing out. Jump back into my Word document. Here I am simply going to just push it down and, oh, sorry. Undo. I need to do this without the formatting. See how easy it is to make mistakes? So it's right click and just select the formatting. Brilliant, that's what I've got. Just make that bold so it just pops out a little bit more and I can see what I'm doing. Okay, again, I need to make these a little bit more interesting. So these will have to be titles. I do think that I could be a bit more, from an optimization point of view, make something of them. So lavender for anxiety, kava for anxiety, and so on. Because if I take that and just put it into Chrome, so we get a better idea how Google interprets it, we can see 16.5 million websites already have it on there. You could see Healthline, brilliant. This is one of the competitors that we identified in the intent video, and we can see a rich snippet here. Lavender for anxiety, but more important, we can also see people also ask, these are the entities that tie this particular subject together, and people ask similar questions in this particular vein. So where do you put lavender for anxiety? Does that, yes. So I'm going to follow that format for each one of these. For anxiety, I'm going to do it all lowercase as well, just to keep uniformity with the way I design for anxiety. And it may seem a little bit repetitive, but actually this will benefit me when it comes to ranking and for SEO. And same then with ginseng. And quite interesting, it didn't choose all of the ones out of that list, which is interesting. Now, I could obviously spend quite a few hours just simply doing one article and go off and see if there are more and more information regarding it. But for the sake of this, I'm happy if we get around the 800-900 words. I think that's more than adequate enough. You can already see it's 1100 there. Without us pruning, we will be in a good place. The other benefit as well of me doing this in Word, you can do it in WordPress because I've set it up that way, but more so in Word, is I also run Grammarly on here, as you can see here in the top right hand corner, and that allows me to make sure that terminology and spelling and things like that are taken care of before I chuck it into WordPress. It's not essential because I tend to do that as I go along anyway, but you can already see how new phrases are found, and I could add those to my dictionary if I so wished. So the other thing I like to do as well, which is great for mobile optimization, is ensure that my paragraphs are normally 2 or 3 sentences and no longer. So that is more beneficial when it comes down to mobile. That does help from a mobile optimization point of view. So just seeing that, I'm just literally tweaking this so that when I put it into WordPress, it doesn't take as much. I'm doing it here or I'm doing it there. It doesn't really make a difference. I will also read through all this in a minute as well, because I haven't done that just to make sure it all makes sense. It does actually read correctly, and we can get some value out of it. And more importantly as well, is that we lead the reader on a journey that they actually get value from this, and that there is a point to introducing the topic, giving some examples, reinforcing it, and then leaving them with a conclusion. That is a steady way to build any sort of blog out there. Okay, so I'm just literally speeding through this. Appreciate your time watching this. While I'm doing this, if you want to like or subscribe to the channel, or even ask a question below, please do so. I do read them all, and I thoroughly appreciate any interaction that you provide as well. So I'm just saving this as I go along so I don't lose it. I'm happy with the lavender, carver, chamomile, valerian. We also had the passion flower, so we need to bring that one up as well. And importantly, oh, and the spirulina as well. We'll bring the two of those up, copy and paste those. So we know that's our conclusion. Let's put that there. And this is our final thoughts. Okay, let's bold that so we know where we are. Okay. And let's just do the mobile bits and pieces. I do return to things in time and do this anyway, so it's not absolutely essential you've got to do that now, but it helps. All helps for ranking and ensuring that your blog gets read, appreciated by the search engines, Google especially, and then promotes you on the internet. Okay, so I'm just going to read through this a minute. I'll pause it, come back to you so that you're not wasting your time, so I can just make sure it's reading correctly. Okay, see you back. Okay, so I've read through that. I'm happy. The content reads quite nicely, to be honest. I'm quite impressed with it. It's quite superficial. It doesn't go into any great depth. But then again, I think this is the opportunity. I could take each one of those paragraphs and elaborate them into a much larger, in-depth article that's more advanced, and then push back to this pillar article. So therefore, I could basically do about 8 or 9 individual posts on this. I've come back at this point because I want to add something to the context I read here, where it says obviously possible side effects. As with anything, you know, what you take and what I take will have a different reaction, and whilst both of us may be fine for it, you may benefit more, I may benefit less. So we need to put some sort of caveat in there that says, you know, remember to always sample the herbs in their smallest dose, and if in doubt, seek I wouldn't say medical, nutritionist. Always seek the advice from a doctor or nutritionist, because again, I'm not a specialist in this. I'm not medically trained, but I wouldn't want to steer somebody in the wrong way. I want to make sure that they understand we're enlightening them, because this is an informational article. But likewise, if they are having any sort of side effects or possibly unsure, they need to always do the due diligence and double check. That goes with everything in life, to be honest. Okay, so I'm just literally going through this rest of this. I'm just pruning away the first part. So we've got an opening statement, we've got the content, and then we go closing part, which I'm quite happy with. So let's copy that all the way up to the top. That's where it's the best. It's not common. Let's see, let's just read this so it makes some sense. Yeah, I prefer that in there than numerous, right? A bit of jiggery pokery, to be honest, just to get this to be what I think it needs to be, so it reads contextually right. There are the good news that there are many has it. Yeah, now that reads okay, quite nice. And then we come into the final thoughts there. What is it? We've done lavender. Yeah, we already have lavender up the top. So we don't need this one now because this refers to lavender essential oils. All these herbs, all these serotonin, help charm immediately. Yeah, I like that. It's quite nice. It can help with a remedy. However, they vary in effectiveness. Okay, so not. I want to make sure something's not too contradictory. What's the word? What's that? Contradicts. I couldn't think of the word then. But it doesn't contradict itself in the information. So all of these herbs are excellent choices when it comes to the best herb for anxiety symptoms. The other one says here, all these herbs can be used for remedy, however they vary in effectiveness. I think that's much more realistic and honest. We're not trying to oversell something here. We need to know that we're sticking to the intent of what we're trying to express to the reader. They work in a similar way, right? Okay, therefore we should do it right. Okay, I like that. So we've done that bit, yeah, and then the answer is that's very definite, and I don't think it needs to be, because each one of these paragraphs actually applies, and then we've reinforced it in the final one saying they all vary in their potency and their effectiveness, and therefore to a certain extent you sort of have to trial it to find out what works with your body. So I'm happy. We've got a nice little article there now. Saving that, you can see we're up to 883 words quite nicely. So let's decide on a good title for that one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 herbs. So what is the best herb for anxiety? 7 of the best herbs for anxiety. I think that's much more, let's get that spelled right. I think that's much more emotive to give us an idea of where we are. So 7 of the best herbs for. So let's do our due diligence. Let's copy that. Again, let's chuck it once more into Chrome and see what it says, whether it likes it or not, or whether we can rephrase it. These 7 stress relief herbs will help work against your anxiety. See, so someone wasn't too far off the money with what I was doing as well. So the 7 stress, okay, herbs for anxiety, 9 calming options, 7 natural remedies to reduce anxiety. I do like that, to be honest. I like natural as a word in there as well. So I'm going to go with that, or something very similar to that. So 7 natural remedies. Yeah, let's just do that. So 7 natural remedies for anxiety. Let's double check what we got. To reduce anxiety. Yeah, I quite like that. We're not promising anything here. We're going to cure it. So reduce it is a good and favorable term to use as well. To reduce. 7 natural remedies. No, not remedies. Sorry, we're not offering natural, or 7 herbs. You can see how you keep tweaking. I just want to make sure the intent is as strong as possible, because this will make the difference when it comes to ranking. Again, copy that. Let's throw it back into Google, and this sort of repeat and rinse and repeat process gives me an idea of whether I'm going to be on the money or not. So you can see the same things came up. So I'm clearly on the money here. Best herbal remedies. Well, I'm not offering any remedies. I'm just giving a description. But again, these could go into those individual articles, and that's what I'm going to pursue next. So I actually build out something that's quite consolidated in one particular area. I'm going to look at natural remedies in order to help or reduce anxiety, and this is just the lead-in article to get there. So 7 herbs to help reduce anxiety. There you are. I'm really chuffed with that. I think that's good. Right, let's do our due diligence. Let's get the title, copy. Let's jump on the back end of our spicesplate.com. We're under the post. Let's add a new post in there. Let's paste in the title, which now becomes obviously the permalink. That's there. Brilliant. Okay, back into here, and we simply select all of this, control copy, and I just paste as plain text. So I bring none of the formatting in from Word, which saves a lot of hassle. So I'm going to rewrite the first part. The reason being is, from an SEO point of view, we like to see reduce anxiety. That's probably going to be the keyword we're going to go for. I need to ensure that's somewhere in the middle, at the beginning of our sentence. So I'm literally just going to give this a little bit of formatting now, but I do that in here because that way then it's copying none of the shortcode from Word, and it'll make it look a lot better. Also, you can see I'm running Grammarly on there, and that will ensure that everything is spelt correctly, or at least sounds correct as well. So let's just do all this due diligence, right? Also, right, so let's now give that a title, heading, and yep, H2, that's fine. Let's close. We can close all this down in a minute. Right, okay, that's my paragraph. There's my heading, H2. I don't want it as H2. I'm actually going to do it as a H3, to be honest. I think that'd be big enough. I don't want it to be overkill. Okay, same there. Heading, H3. Looks a little messy at the moment, but it'll get a lot cleaner now in a minute, and it'll start looking like a decent post. But also, working in the back end, as I do for most posts, I have no page builders. I reduce the speed, it loads up fast, and also then it tends to be mobile optimized by doing it this way as well. Happy days. Right, so let's give that a return. So it's in its own box. They help, so we can dismiss that. We don't know that. Seek advice, yes. Return. It's nice. Aging, yeah, okay. Lots of potential. No, it's potentials, not potentials. I don't know why it recommended that. But again, let's do the short paragraph there. Okay, so welcome back. Here you can see I have laid it out reasonably well. That's fine, not a problem. What we do need to do now is ensure that this keyword that we want is included in the bottom. I'm also going to add it into rank math here. Now, there's lots of people who debate whether you actually need a SEO plugin, and they're probably right, but I think it's always better to have it, not need it, not have it. And this gives me a more of a fair idea of how well I've crafted it. Because even though I know there are multiple places to do it, the permalink, the title tag, the meta description, alt tag, all those necessary places, I do believe that you can still miss one or two little things. So it pays to have that little bit of security in the background. So again, I'm looking for reduced anxiety. You can see with rank math, and this is quite why I like rank math, it makes a lot of the suggestions for us. We can see stress, meditation, and again, this is a great, and I'm just going to write some of these down. And the rhyme and reason is, as I mentioned, we're going to write other blogs that relate to this to support our pillar post. So we're going to look at remedies, but also in there we can look at meditation. So when we write those articles, they have a little bit of meat to them, okay? We can also see there's a relation to stress. There's techniques in there as well, which I quite like. Reduce anxiety before bed, yes. And naturally, yes. So I've got a nice selection of modifiers to my keyword that will help me then reinforce it for, and also create contextual linking between those articles. So you can see we're up to 54, that's fine because we haven't written the meta description, we haven't put it in the title here. This is where I quite like rank math. It gives us some reminders there, even though I know kind of what I'm doing, but for you reading this and following it, you can see just writing a blog from the get-go, because that's what I'm trying to do, is be as transparent as I can. You can see how much it's not just about writing the content, it's knowing that you're meeting the intent. It's knowing that you've got the right format in there. It's knowing that you've got a purpose to it, an introduction, reinforcing it, and a conclusion. And it's also then knowing that you've optimized it as well as it can be, so it will rank. Okay, enough said, let me crack on. So, right. So 7 of the best herbs, the answer depends on what you're. So let's write this: to find the best herbs to help reduce anxiety will require some time and effort in order to narrow down choice to the best one for you. I'm capitalizing the U just to give it a bit more presence, as it were. Let me just do my spelling. And I quite like that. I've got in order to find. Yeah, let's change that. In order to find the best. Yeah, quite like that. It's a nice introduction. It doesn't overpromise something, but it also gives you an idea of what this article is about. Jumping back in, then that will become my meta description, and that will tick another box off down here. The URL's not in there, but as soon as I press publish now, it will push it to the front of the website. We haven't finished yet, but it will create the permalink, and that's now being ticked off on there. We're scoring a little bit higher, so it's happy there. But I'm happy at this point now. I also like to put in a table of contents. So I don't have one there. I'll have to set one up in a minute, but I will pop a table of contents in there because we have multiple headings in there as well. So I'll come and do that now in a minute. I thought I'd loaded the plugin in there, which is Lucky TOC, table of contents, but I'll add that in a minute. The other thing that we haven't done, and we need to do now as well, is there's me, that's my title. Permalinks there now, as you can see, 7 herbs to help reduce anxiety. We need to set categories to this. So this is natural herbs, absolutely perfect. Tags, yes, we could do lavender under there. Lavender. Cover. And that way then it creates more contextual linking between articles. So when I come to do the next lot of articles, it already knows I reference them elsewhere. And that is an important thing to do when you want to make a website as strong as possible. So I'm just literally listing all the ones that are relevant. Ginseng, passion, flower. I don't know if that's 1 or 2 words, but it doesn't seem to spit it out as 1 word, so that's fine. And then spirulina. And I'm also going to put in the word anxiety, stress, and depression. Now, it may seem a lot of tags on there, but it will all be beneficial in time. Okay. And we also need to put the featured image in, the one that we got from Dreamstime. So let's upload that then to our media library. Downloads. And there she is. Before I put her in, I right click and I'll give her a little bit of context as well. And also importantly, put in the term reduce anxiety. So I'm putting woman suffering from stress and anxiety and looking to reduce anxiety for better health. And press return. That way then, the reason I'm doing this as I right clicked it before I import it in is it will bring that in as the title of the image and put that in the database, and then we can copy that text into the alt tag as well, which will be there. So you can see the title is there now. I simply copy that and put it into the alt tag. I could put it on the caption description as well, which I just do as a matter of fact, and then I set as a featured image, and then I update. And we've jumped up a little bit more the score. I'm not too worried about that. If we were playing the game of trying to optimize it, it's probably going to say keyword density is too low. We probably need to put in there a little bit chamomile for, you know, to help reduce anxiety, Carver to help, but that would be a bit over optimizing, to be honest. So what I'll do for your benefit is Control F, and you can see it opens the box at the top up here. Now we type in anxiety, and we can see there's 34 references on this page. We're looking for something we can put the word reduce in front of it. Now we've already got it there. The answer depends on what causes your, we can't put it there. To the root cause of your anxiety, no. Anxiety is not uncommon. Treatment for reducing anxiety would be the right one there. To treat, no. Remedies for, no. Again, it's the titles there. Reduce, we've already got it there. Use as a treatment, no. Alleviate, no. So you can kind of see that it would be too much of a push, and this is where I know some people will say exactly the same, and I'm actually saying it as well, is I'm not always guided by that, because you can over optimize an image just to basically tick the boxes for numbers and numbers' sake. That doesn't necessarily deliver this part, the user experience, which is obviously the article itself. So if we jump over onto the website now and we refresh, we should now see our natural spices coming up with the terminology and our latest post, and we should see our young lady there, and there she is. So clicking onto it now, I've got to design the rest of the sidebar, but you can see there's our image, there's our title tag, our opening, and I could make that bold just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, as it were. Again, there's no right and wrong here. It's only living and learning and seeing what you prefer. So I'm not going to change that to, let me just jump back in. Yeah, so let me just select that and make that bold. It's quite nice. Oh, I missed the first part. Bold. Update. And I think that just gives it an aesthetic look, to be honest. So if I return that now, you can see that just pops out a little bit more, which is quite nice. I will put a table of content in there as well, but otherwise that's quite a nice little read. You can see the short sentences, even when they're pushed down, which obviously they would be on a mobile, makes all the difference. So it doesn't look too consuming, a long read. It's nice and digestible. And you can see using the H3 tags or H2, whichever ones you prefer, you can see it nicely breaks it down. Yep, I'm happy with that. It's a bit of styling to be done, but other than that, that's all it takes to write a blog. And hats off, this is ArticleForge. I'll put a link in the description below for you. It's a great little tool. It's not bad, and you can see what within probably about half an hour or so, about half an hour or so, we've written a good article there, which is about 900 words, or just shy of 900 words in total. So that's all there is. I will crack on with a few more AI tools, but for the moment now I'm going to start building out the rest of these articles based on what we've already found here for each one of those 7 herbs, and then I can contextually link them together, which I'll do in another video on Link Whisper. So only remains for me to say thank you very much. If you've got any comments, please do leave them below. Please like and share the video. Click the notification if you want to be notified of the next video coming out, and don't forget to subscribe as well, because the more people I can reach out to, hopefully I can impart the knowledge that I've gained over the years, and likewise inspire you. So it only remains for me to say thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Signing out.